Hi guys, welcome to my channel. It's me, Catherine, and this is the channel where we talk about how to make money online, especially through freelance writing. So today we're going to talk about the benefits of niching down as a freelance writer and how you should go about picking a niche for your freelance writing business. So I know different people have different opinions concerning niching down or being a generalist, like writing on any topic. And I'm okay with whichever direction you go. But today I actually want to encourage you to niche down because for me, I think that's the best way to go about running your freelance writing business. You may not necessarily niche down, like pick a niche from the beginning if you're not so sure, like what topics you want to be writing on, but you should be always you should be in the process of niching down. So I'll start by mentioning what are the benefits of niching down, because I think most of the benefits outride the benefits of not niching down and being a generalist. First of all, when you niche down, okay, I'll start by mentioning what is a niche. Like just generally, if you want to pick a niche as a freelance writer, what does this mean? It actually means that you just decide to write on particular topics in a specific industry. Like for example, one day you're not writing about beauty, and then the next day you're talking about finance, and the next day you're writing for a client about digital marketing. No, niching down is where you pick one industry and you only write topics in that industry. So for example, if you want to become a digital marketing writer like myself, you pick that niche and that's what you go with all along. Like those are the clients you look for, those are the samples of articles you write, and all that stuff. So what are the benefits of niching down? The first benefit is that niching down makes your writing easier actually. So why is this? Because if you're always writing on topics on a certain, on a certain industry, in a certain industry, you'll eventually get used to it. You'll find yourself maybe even sometimes repeating like specific topics. Like you can get client A who will give you a certain, let's give an example of the beauty industry. And then, so hair and beauty. Then you get a client who wants to give you an article to write an assignment about how to pick, let's say, weaves for black women's hair. Write that for one client, and then the next time you get another client, they also want the same topic, and another time similar topics. Eventually, you find yourself getting used to the information, getting used to the kind of writings that you should be doing in that industry. And so what happens, it makes your work easier because you're no longer writing on topics that are strange, are totally new to you each and every time. So that's number one reason why you should pick a niche. The second benefit of picking a niche for your freelance writing business is actually similar to the first, because it makes you a better writer. Because if you are finding it easier to write on certain topics, it's easier to improve. It's easier for you to become a better writer because it's like you're polishing the same skills. You're no longer struggling to understand these topics. You're no longer struggling to find out where will you get the information because you're used to it. You know where to do the research. You know the most common websites that have the best information in this industry. So your focus is on improving your writing. It's no longer about, first of all, understanding the jargon, finding out the common words that are used when, describing things in this industry or products and all that. So your focus becomes on improving your writing, and that actually makes you become a better writer. The third benefit of picking a niche is that it makes it easier for you to market yourself. It gives you it helps you understand and know how to market yourself. And it helps you pick the correct marketing language. If you have chosen a specific industry and you have decided these are the topics that you'll be writing on, it means you get to understand what the needs of those customers are, of your potential clients are, what their pain points are, and it means you'll be able to write your market yourself better. Let's say on social media platforms, even how you will write your website, how the copy that you will use on your website, because you will know the pain points of these people. You have understood them, you have known their needs, and so you are able to address them better. The fourth benefit of picking a niche or niching down is that you're able to get clients easier. Yes, it is very true that it's easier to get a client if you have niched down. I'm not saying it's automatic, but it's much easier. Let me give you an example. If there is a client who is in the, let's go with the example of the beauty niche again, and they want someone to write blog posts for their website that addresses, hairdressers and beauticians and all that, and they're looking for a freelance writer. So if they get this one person who is a generalist, so a freelance writer who is a generalist, they can write on any topic, they've written on any topics, their samples are on varied topics, and then they get you who has specialized in the beauty industry, and you have, branded yourself as a freelance writer or a blog post writer in the beauty and, hair and beauty industry, who is more likely to be picked? If your work, let's say, all things held constant. Okay, actually, not even necessarily all things held constant, because even if this generalist has many years of experience, but you have specified yourself as an expert in the beauty niche, then you're more likely to be picked. If your writing is okay, if your writing is good, the client will most likely go for you. Why? Because they feel like you understand the industry. You will understand what their readers want. You will understand what is expected of you as you write your articles, okay? So that's why it's easier to get clients if you have specialized in a niche. Fifth benefit of niching down is that you can increase your speed of writing. This is like the $1 million question. Like if you're not very fast in writing, the question is always, how do I increase my speed? How do I increase my writing speed? And one of the ways to do that is by niching down. Let me explain how. As I have said before, like the other points I've just mentioned about the benefits of niching down, the more you write on a particular topic, the easier it gets for you, the more you understand what is expected of you, it becomes much faster. The process becomes faster for you because you are not beginning by trying to understand the topics. No, you're just going directly to writing and deciding these are the points I'll include in my article and all that. So if you want to increase your speed of writing, I would suggest you pick a niche and stick to it. At least for as long as you feel like this is the right niche. I'm not saying that you can't move from one niche to the other. Yes, you can. If you realize that the one you've picked is not working for you, is not ideal, then you can move and start writing on another niche. But bottom line is focus on one niche at a time. And then the final benefit, which I guess is one of the main reasons people niche down, is that when you pick a niche, it helps you to get rich. Okay? There's more money in specializing in a niche, meaning you can command higher rates if you have specialized in a particular niche. So that's why you should pick a niche. And with that, I want to give you some steps that you can follow in order for you to pick a niche, because I know that this can be also challenging for some people. So how do you pick a niche as a freelance writer? First of all, you have to know that the niche that will make you rich is the one that you enjoy doing, is the one that you do right. So you have to think of something that is enjoyable for you. Don't just pick a niche for the sake of it because someone said that it's very lucrative. I know that's a factor to consider, but it shouldn't be the main factor, because if you do not enjoy writing something, you'll actually struggle, and you won't produce the best content if you're struggling, if you're not enjoying it. And since this is what you're going to be writing about on a daily basis, if you do not enjoy it, it will be a drag for you, and you will actually not be as productive as you would want to be. So the first thing to do for you to pick a niche is think about what you actually enjoy doing, and I'll give you some steps to follow in order to know how to know what you enjoy and what you would potentially be good at. Think about the work experiences you've had, because maybe you've worked before you became a freelance writer. So think about the work experiences you've had and ponder on this, these areas, and think about are these things that you will actually enjoy writing on, topics that you would enjoy writing on. So think about the work experiences, any trainings you've gotten like in college, or any any training, even if it's online, just think about those trainings and consider if those topics are things that you would actually enjoy writing on a daily basis. Another thing you should think about are your skills. And these are skills that may be professional skills, but not only professional skills. You may even be having some skills that are just, like maybe you learned from, a hobby or something like swimming. You may not be a professional swimmer, but maybe you're really good at it and it's a skill that you have. So you may consider getting into like the sports industry or specifically swimming, something like that. So think about your skills, think about your interests. So that's the hard part when someone says, think about your interests and you don't know what you're interested in. So that becomes a challenge. Think about your interests in terms of what do you enjoy talking about, or what do you find yourself engaging in most of the time, or maybe what magazines do you like reading? Do you find yourself maybe subscribing to certain newsletters because you just enjoy it, or even things that you enjoy watching on television? These are things that will give you ideas of what areas you're interested in. The next step in picking a niche is now doing the research. So you've decided that this is the topic that you actually write. This is the niche that you are interested in, that you enjoy. The next step is to do your research. Don't just now decide, okay, I'm interested in finance, and you start looking for jobs in the finance niche. No, the next step is to do your market research. So find out the companies that are in that industry, find out the brands that are there, find out the products that are sold in that industry, in that niche, within that niche, because this will help you identify who are your potential customers. And even as you're doing your research, it will help you actually brainstorm on the kind of content that these potential clients would require you to write in. Okay, so do your research. And then the third step is find out the top players in that niche. So how do you do it? Just do like a Google search. Let's say you want to get into digital marketing. So just do a Google search of digital marketing writer, and you'll get websites of people who are, of freelance writers who have specialized in that niche. And what is the point of this? It's not to copy paste their work, but it's to give you an idea of how you should present yourself, because the top players, these are the ones that will appear on, the top ranking on your Google search. It means that they're like the best, in the industry. So for you to emulate what they've done, it will be a good thing, because if it's your first time, you don't really know how to go about this, what to write on your website, and what to, how to market yourself and all that. Looking at these top players will give you an idea of where to start. Another thing, which is a tip that I'm going to give you, to be able to know the top potential clients in those niches, you can look at the portfolios of these top players. These freelance writers who specialize in the niche that you also want to get into, they have their portfolio, so they can actually show the companies they've written for, the brands they've written for, the websites they've written for, and you going through this will help you, get an idea of the potential clients. These are things that you're going to use later on when you're, deciding how to look for clients. Okay, so do the research on the top players in those niches. And then the final thing is begin writing. And by beginning to write, I don't mean just immediately go looking for clients. No, you have to now position yourself, actually brand yourself as this niche specific freelance writer. All right, so create your website. And if you don't have a website, I have a link to Bluehost in my description box below. You can just click on that and create your website using Bluehost. That's what I use to create my own website, writer's website. So make your website. Write that you're specifically a writer in this niche. On your social media platforms, talk about that. On your LinkedIn, make your profile clearly stand out as a freelance writer in this particular niche. Okay, so that's what you should be doing next. Brand yourself, and then start writing in terms of create samples for yourself and start guests. blogging, because if you've not written on any website, if you're a beginner or you've just started, or even if you're not a beginner but you've decided that you want to specialize on this particular niche and you don't have any client that you got before who you wrote for, so you don't have anything that you can add to your portfolio from previous clients, then you have to start somewhere. And having your own samples is a good thing, but always having samples on other people's websites is better. So that's why you can go into guest blogging. And I'll talk about guest blogging much later on. But that's all for today. I wanted to talk about how you should niche down as a freelance writer, the benefits of niching down, and how to pick a niche. So I hope you've gotten something, guys. I hope this was helpful. If you like this content, give me a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thanks, guys, for watching. See you on the next video. Goodbye. God bless you.